What's going on, little savage, huh? Let's talk about chaos. Markets are full of chaos, right? So we want to think down the road. So when you have stocks that are working and you're making money, you got to be thinking about what's the next play. What's cheap right now? In my book, The Psychology of Creating Goals and Extraordinary Wealth, of his quote, it says, when your desires and your imagination collide, your imagination will come out on top. Buddha said all that we are is a result of all we have thought. It is formed, it is founded on thought and is based on thought. That was Buddha, man. So as we go into the market, I'm trying to track these stages. And if you're going to think big picture, it's one of the 10 pillars of success. You ever bought a book from me, you're going to get these things called the 10 pillars of success. Pillar number 7 is focus your time and money. But number 7 is seeing the big picture. And what we have here is the big picture. So we want to find assets that haven't already run up. Now we want to be in those as they're going up, but as these are going up, we want to start looking to take profits to put them in the ones that haven't gone up yet, right? So we got to think a little bigger. So this is the TQ right here, NASDAQ Technology Index, right? This is a triple leveraged TQQQ. Now you got to be careful with these leveraged funds. These are not investments. You're borrowing these. These are trading tools. You want to trade these. And so what I try to do is the same thing we were doing there. I'm trying to figure out what stage this stock is in, or this index here. And if I can pinpoint these and ride these stages, right? That's going to help me identify entry points and exit points, because I actually don't know where the market's going. Nobody really does. A lot of shit can happen. A lot of unknown events, black swans, things like that. What's going on here? Black swan events, anything can happen, right? But anything that we think might happen is just us kind of guessing that maybe that'll happen. We don't actually know. So what I began to look for was this pattern, and I look for it on all stocks. Like, it doesn't matter what stock you're in. I mean, go research them, do all your stuff, make sure that's legit. But I just began to watch that price would flow like this. Price would flow. It would run sideways. It would break up. It would run sideways. It would break down and then run sideways. But the pattern was organic. It's always being played out, right? And you can almost see it, like even in the indicator, because this indicator tracks price. You notice how it's doing? Look, right? And it heads down, and it goes over. You see, that's an indicator. This is called stochastics. I don't talk about this indicator. Why can't I get this to close? I got something open here on. There we go. And just as you watch the indicator, you're going to kind of notice the pattern, man. Not perfect. It'll get out of whack, but then sometimes it catches it perfect, And so as I begin to watch that, and you can see it, like these indicators track price, right? So that you can see how they kind of move. And then they go through this sideways period, and then they rip higher, right? And even on indicators, you can plot targets. I don't know if you know this. Like, that gets into some advanced trading, but you can plot targets, right? Draw trend lines. So, I'm sure you've read books and they talk about trend lines. You notice in my book, I don't spend a lot of time talking to you about trend lines. I mean, to me, trend lines are just pretty obvious. If you come over and you look at a chart, you got to set your time frame. I usually use about 6 months. There's no reason to go back any further than that. I mean, I'm playing stages, and stages in an up in a bull market where the stocks are just creeping higher and higher and higher and higher. It'll still go through all of these stages, but if you just connect lows, that's, a basic trend line. That's a basic trend line. They just mean, if you look at a stock chart, is it going down is it going like this or is it going like this? And you do that by connecting these pivot points. You probably know that. You should know that. This is just basic when you're looking at a chart. Let me pull up so I've been working on this new book, right? Let's look at something real quick. We don't do this enough. I kind of just assume you guys all know what the fuck you're doing, which is probably not true. If you look at this is from my new book I'm working on. What is a price chart? Price is the indicator. A price chart is a sequence of prices plotted over a specific time frame. What I use 99.9% of the time is a daily chart. So each one of these bars is one day, right? So as we zoom in, because charts provide an easy to read graphical representation of a security's price movement over a specific period of time. Or in other words, it's a window into opportunity. It's a window into the market. So as price moves over a period, they can also be a great benefit to fundamental research. Charts here were created with stockcharts.com. So if I just show you this, here's what I want to try to get across to you, what we're trying to do when we see this. And all this is no indicators, no moving averages, nothing. This is how I start my boot camps. We just need to look at a naked chart, man. A naked chart and try to make sense of what we're seeing. And if we go look at this price and the price is 123 and maybe it's undervalued, maybe it's simple as that. You don't need a fucking indicator. Price is 123 and the company's worth 190. Well, that could be construed as undervalued, right? And that doesn't take it. People like, well, how do you value a stock? I don't know how you value a car. It ain't that complicated. There's people that value stocks for a living. Like if you need something painted, one option is you could call a dentist or you could call a painter, right? So which one makes more sense? In other words, valuing a stock is no more complicated than figuring out a dentist or having your tires changed. There's a place you can go. And once you can do that and you say, well, what if they're wrong? Okay. But they probably got it better than you do. Now, if you have some edge, you went to business school, you went to Wharton Business School, shit, maybe you did. Then maybe you have an edge and you can do like Warren Buffett and sit around reading, Q10s and fucking studying the fundamentals and you can do that. And if you're on it, do it. But what this chart allows us to do is track price. And you can look at it. I mean, when you first look at it, you may see chaos, right? And on these bars, look, whenever you see mine, some of you guys use line charts, which is just dumb. I won't even answer questions anymore from line charts. A guy sent me one yesterday. If you're on the live, I'm not picking on you, but I'm not answering your question when you send me a fucking line chart, okay? You don't look at a line chart on your mobile phone. You pull up actual stock charts, okay? Like, act like you want to actually win at this. So you have to get them. I'm trying to drive home that point. When you see a black bar, that means it closed above where it opened. You see these ticks right here? That tick to the left is where the price opened. That tick to the right is where the price closed. This bar, that's the very low of the day. That's the very high of the day. So we can look at this one bar and say, look, market moved up, right? Market moved up. And if we look at the next one, well, it opened where it closed on this day, right? And then what did it do? Dip for a second, and then it went all the way up and closed up, right? Now, if we're looking at this right here, we could take a line and we could draw a bottom and draw a top, right? We could begin to look for what I call boxes. We could begin to look at that. And as you look at this price right here, maybe all of a sudden, as you follow each bar every day, right? behind the pattern, you can begin to find these boxes. But we don't want to find every box. Every box isn't a valuable box. It's boxes at extremes, okay? Meaning this little box here, and you say, well, I don't understand the box. We'll get to that. This little box here don't mean as much as this box up here and here, right? Extreme points. Now look at it. So I'm trying to trade this pattern, right, of price movement. And I need to see this pattern in my charts. I need to see this pattern in my charts. You know, if you had a bad month, it's because you're unfucking diversified. Right? Which means you probably don't have enough money. Which means the problem is you need to go get more money. Right? It's called investing in you. You said, well, I didn't have enough. Go get it. Like, I don't know. Like, make it a priority, man. So maybe, I don't know, maybe want to win at it. I don't know what to say. It takes time. I get that. So the lesson here is to learn. You say, damn, if looking back, if I would have done this and that, this and that, this and that, this and that, I would have come out on top. Good. Write that shit down. That's how you learn. So that the next time this happens, the next one we go into, you get a jump on it. Maybe next time you'll have $50,000 in your account and you'll do something different, right? Because you're tracking different things. You're not 100% all in one sector. And then that sector gets blown out and you're like, wow, I don't wonder what's happening. It's going down. So as you watch the market, it's one of the pillars. Send it to you when you buy a book. Big pillar. We need to see the big picture. What's the big picture? And so as I'm watching this pattern play out, right, I can look at this chart and begin to say, okay, so go back up. There's no lines, right? And we're trying to take these zones where you see price turning, and we're trying to find a way to say that we have enough evidence to say that's what this is. You know, that when price breaks out, and, you know, I'll talk later about what a breakout is, but if it breaks out, I assume it's going to where it's been before. And so I began to create these rules around this movement of price here. Called 4 stages. And as the stock moves through it, it's completely normal. This is how Facebook goes from $30 to $300. It goes through about 50 of these. Sideways, runs up, sideways, months, and then we go down. It goes down for like a month. My friend said, well, what's going on this month? It's called a stage 4. It's not fucking secret, okay? Meaning the rest of your life, you're going to have stage 4s. Get fucking used to it. Seriously. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You thought when you came into the stock market, it stopped going down? I mean, get the fuck out of here. Markets go up and down. Go look at history. Go look. All sectors. Go look. So we can pull up any sector. So don't be surprised. You know, oh, my stock went down. Yeah, it's called stage 4 decline. They all do it. So let me show you something. Go look at let's look at some of the EV car plays. Now, I'm trying to help you out here. You guys, some of you guys are 28 years old. Let me let you in on something. Market's gonna fucking crash like 20 times in your life. So every 20 times doesn't need to be chaos. You could figure out how to get short. You could figure out how to hedge. You could do diversification. You could act like you want to win. So in other words, it's going to happen again. And so I don't play the paranoia game like I got to get out of the market. None of that shit. I need to know what goes up when the market goes down so that I can protect myself or make a little money while holding my stocks. Like you could begin to play the game on both sides, right? And then you realize, wait, there's some shit that goes up when the market goes down. Well, how do I track that? That might be real important. If that was breaking out, when the market was breaking down, maybe you take a position in that, yeah, and it starts moving up, right, as the market moves down. And so your balance goes down less. That's an idea. And so we could begin to watch these things, right? And so if you look at this, now this has all the lines already on it, and this is VLDR. It's super important, man. You remember, I saw a lot of horrible trading during the marijuana heydays. There were people trading those stocks. Here we are 3 years later, they still don't know shit because they didn't actually learn anything while they were trading those stocks. They didn't create any sort of system or rules or patterns or see the big picture or, how to hedge them. Or the sectors. If you follow if your index turns down, your stocks are going down. See, when we get rid of the lines, we ask ourselves, can we see the pattern? Can you see it? I just randomly grabbed this stock. Do you see that? Now, there's no moving averages on here, right? And so if we go do some fundamental research and we think this stock is worth like $24, say $21. What if we think this is worth $21, $22? Now, when it gets to $22, maybe the business has done better. Analysts raise targets, they hire new employees, and this company grows. And this goes from $22 to $200 over the next 10 years. It'll do that. Tesla did that, right? Netflix did that. Chipotle's did that. McDonald's continues to do that. Starbucks did that. All kinds of companies do this, okay? And as they do that, you'll see them run up, go sideways, sell off, right? And sometimes they're just following the flow of the stock market. It ain't even got shit to do with them. Like, why did Tesla's price change, and yet they are selling more cars now than when they were at the high before? So Tesla's selling more cars here than they did up here. Why is the price so low? It's just going through stages. And so it flows through these stages. You'll see it, man. As we back up and look at the big picture, now we're seeing the sideways in here, right? It's morphine as we watch. It's morphine. So now, if you think this is overvalued, you say, well, 574 is kind of expensive. Or what is it, 674? Yeah, 674. Then this is not a trade you would take. But let's say, what if you think it's cheap? What if you think $900 is cheap? Or what if you think it's worth $900? Well, the time you want to buy it, what? After a big sell-off, and then it goes sideways? Doesn't that make sense? That seems smarter than buying up here, right? I mean, there were people buying there. It's funny. Man, look at all these coming together too. And then just look at the general direction still on the chart. Trend line, all you're doing is going to these daily bars, right? And you're finding these pivot points. It would be there and then there, right? And then you're drawing them. That's it, man. That's all you're doing. I think I mentioned them in the book. I don't think they're that important. Of course, you can do the same for the top, right? You can do the same for the top. Now, what do you have? Triangle. A lot of people like to ascending, descending triangles. Bullish bear flags. A pennant. We got pennants. You ever hear people talk about pennants? So you could read these like tea leaves, man. You could say, whoa, we got a double top here. Right? We got a descending triangle. Or maybe we got an ascending triangle depending on where you started from. You get what I'm saying? So there's a million ways to read it. That's the problem when you're doing the money flow and you start adding all this other shit. You can literally have shit that says the exact opposite of what your shit says. So you have to have some sort of baseline, some sort of ground rules that you establish for you. Otherwise, a breakout for you, they might say, shit, that's a dead cat bounce. Meaning he doesn't trust the first breakout. He waits on the second breakout. So there's people, they wouldn't trust this right here. That I'd call that a breakout. They'd say that's not a breakout. Why? Because the first one, you see, whenever you have these moving averages this far apart, I'm fixing to go on the deep end here, but if you understood what I'm saying, when you get these moving averages this far apart, the stock can't do anything till they all come together, right? Same over here, right? Same over here. Like everything's got to come together and then go on the other side to move higher. So it can never go higher until that red line and blue line get on this side of the damn equation and go that way, right? That's just math, meaning the stock, that is just math calculations. It's just taking the close of the day and the next close and the next close, putting it into a little formula and coming up where it should print the price. And as price drifts lower, those are going to just point down and go lower. As they start to come together, it's because price is coming together. So look, big down move starts to tick up, right? It's what is it doing? It's coming together in this little apex here, which is what? It's forming a zone, man. So if we look at the pattern of the money flow pattern, it's doing this right here. It's going into a zone. So a stage one, right? This is either a stage one or what? Yeah, I mean, it's stage one. It could turn into a 4. This is Tesla. Big stage 4 decline, comes up, tries to break. Now we're going sideways, break again, super bullish. Now, depending on how you want to trade it, maybe you put a stop there. Maybe. I wouldn't. As long as it stays in this zone for me, that's a buy zone. And we'll go up, assuming you think it's worth $900. So PLTR, we've been playing that game with PLTR too, right? Somebody just mentioned PLTR. Let's look at PLTR. It's starting to break. It's got that double break. Why did it need to do it twice? That's very common. Don't get weirded out by that. When you trade the money flow, you're going to see what I'm looking for. The most important thing to the money flow really is one of the most important things is this right here, this configuration where price breaks out above that green line and these moving averages come together. And that crossover, while yeah, technically we might call it a buy signal. It's really a point of contention. It's really a moment of clash where, people who agree or disagree, the balance is becoming unbalanced, meaning there's more buyers now than sellers, which is driving the price higher. Does that make sense? And we could set a target there, short-term trader, $37 maybe. But then what happens? Just like we saw on Tesla, it begins to then pull back. But it held that low. I mean, I wouldn't even have got concerned about it, really, as long as it held in there. This one's a little more involved. I'm trying to keep it simple. It's a little more involved. This is a general area that works all the way across the chart. I mean, for 5 months, this level is held, man. So if you think this company's undervalued, and then I got to go ask myself, where's the wind? The wind is the QQQ. The technology stock has been breaking out. So this thing's a laggard. So we could get a fast move out of this. We could get a fast move. The wind is to the upside. This is a tech stock. It should break higher. Now, if we go look and we can create a fundamental case that it's worth $37, now we have a target, right? So as a trader, this is where I start taking position. We've been buying. We've been buying every fucking day, or I have been. 3, 5, 10 shares, 3, 5, 10 shares, just buying it, buying it, buying it. I'm ready to unload some up in here. We'll see. And then maybe hold some. Maybe it becomes a core trading position. I don't know. We got to dig in a little more into the company, right? I like it, though. I like it. He said, how do you value the company the right way? I would just go get a subscription to somebody that values companies, and I'd go with what they say while you're learning. There's a bunch of them that'll do it for you, man. How do you learn to do foundation on your house? You Google foundation repair person. I mean, you don't need to know everything. I didn't go to school for economics. I really don't want to spend all afternoon studying that shit either. I do have obviously basic understanding of business, and I do read on it. And I like to read summarizations. Let's summarize this shit. What happened? I used to sit and listen through. Sometimes I will listen to conference calls if I'm nervous about a stock. Like Snapchat was one that I kept listening to the conference call because that motherfucker acted like he didn't want to make money. I wanted to hear him say it. Let's see. Look at Snapchat. See, technology stock, it's breaking out though. In all these technology charts, we had this little double break. Where's Zillow? See Zillow setting up? So this is Zillow. And I'm like, can I see the pattern? The green line, when I'm looking at the pattern, where'd we go here? Oh, the green line is there as a tool, as a guide. It's not like to get you in trouble. It's a guide, okay? Remind me there. It's a guide for helping you decide a stage 2 and a stage 4. It doesn't tell us how long. How long is a stage going to last? Well, for me, that's determined. I'm looking at previous highs in the RSI, meaning I expect stage 3s to happen in extreme zones. Price breaks out, runs up for a while, and then it starts to go sideways, which is what you see over here where it breaks out, runs up, starts to go sideways. And then it breaks down. Same thing, goes sideways, breaks out, runs up, and RSI goes and goes sideways. Well, on the way down, I kind of expect it to stop where it stopped before. If it didn't, I assume it goes to the next one. And so I'm looking for this pattern both to the upside and the downside. So if there's been a box or a consolidation zone here and we're falling down, I assume we're going to stop there again, right? If the RSI goes below 30, an extreme low, not an extreme high, I assume that's probably going to stop price because that's saying that it's oversold. It's temporarily. It's measuring the velocity of price. And so what I began to do is just make some assumptions that it's probably going to stop there. And so I began using this RSI tool to try to help me see price in the boxes is really what I'm looking for. And a box that's like here, like I wouldn't call this a box, but let's say you thought that was a box. Well, if I look up, I need this to be extreme to really be one. It doesn't have to be extreme, but the more extreme it is, then the more useful it is. Does that make sense? Like a little tiny sell-off that then goes up higher may not necessarily give you room to get in, but a big sell-off that comes into a zone where it's been before and stops. Like, let's look at Peloton. What's up with Peloton? If you look at this, and look at this. I mean, it's fucking magic, bro. Look where that stopped. That was the low of this stage 4 decline where price got on this side of the green line. So if we're just using the green line as our determinant, stage 1 is below it, going sideways. Stage 2 breaks above it, going up. Stage 3 starts to form and then goes below it, which then becomes a stage 4, which then turns into a stage 1, which then becomes a stage 2, right? And if I go look at the very low of the stage 4 and I draw a fucking line across, you don't find that a little odd? That like I talk right out of the book, there's a spot where it stopped. And so I assume on the way down, it's going to stop where it stopped before. And that's exactly what it did. It stopped right there. Now, it's not science. Might be a nickel over, might be 50 cents. It begins to build a big picture zone. Pitcher zone. Yeah, don't talk to people about Peloton. Look at the charts. Your friends are stupid. Most of your friends are dumb as dirt, dude. They don't have any money. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're heavily in debt, barely getting through the fucking day. Most of your friends are not people you want to talk to about investments, unless you just have some unusual friends. Dude, I got friends that are successful business owners and still dumb as dirt, dude. They should be so rich and they're just dumb, and they're not, because they don't buy good shit. They don't hold it. They sell it at first time it starts to go down. Like, it's just a constant. Go look at Bitcoin. A lot of you guys have owned Bitcoin for years and years. You ain't rich. It's gone straight up for fucking 200% a year, compounded for 10 years. And there's still people that lost money in Bitcoin. How is that possible? If you said, Gerald, I'm going to give you an asset that's going to compound at 200% a year, you know how quick you could be rich? 100 becomes 2, right? 2 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 8. 3 cycles into that, and you're fucking rich, dude. But you would have to believe in that, right? But you let people talk to you, and then on the news, they're saying shit, and never once do they show you a chart and go, look, here's how price moves. Price tends to stop. Your friends don't do that. They don't know that stuff. None of your friends know that. None of the people on Fox News know this. You ever hear anybody on Fox News go, oh, market moves like in this horseshoe pattern of the 4 stages? No, they don't ever say that. Fucking never. I've never, ever heard anyone describe what I'm talking about, and yet I sit and watch it all day long. It blows my mind. I never hear anyone on there talk about this line. And as a general rule, if you watch stocks go below it and you just waited until it started to go above it, and then you bought some, and then you just sold it a little higher, like when this RSI went extreme, and that was it. That was your whole system. You would be buying stocks that sell off, they stop selling off, and then they start to turn up. Then you buy them. And then you watch this indicator, and when it goes green, you just sell them. That's it. If you did that on Bitcoin for the rest of your life, you'll be rich. We could end right there. That's it. Anybody ever told you that? No, your friends don't know that. They're dumb. Look, sells off. It's on this side of the green line, right? This little strategy I just gave you, it breaks above the green line. And then I watch this up here, and when this goes extreme, I sell some. It looks a lot like waiting for it to stop dropping, break out, and then sell it. And we could just go chart after chart. Now, you may say, well, what if it keeps going down? Well, okay. I mean, that's where we need to pick good stocks, and we need to be diversified. We need to get a bunch, because maybe one of them takes a while. But that basic strategy, I mean, that's, and the money flow is way more complicated than that. But look, here's Coca-Cola. If your basic strategy was what I just told you, and you say, okay, I'm looking for the breaks above and below. Ooh, big break below. Now, inside of the price pattern, where you can see it, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, now we're in a stage 4. I'm not going to get excited till it goes extreme, right? Same to the upside. I don't get excited till it goes extreme. So I'm watching, I'm waiting, and then what? I'm waiting for price to go sideways, and it needs to be clear. Does that look clear like it's sideways? Like this one I was putting on my Insta, I was literally begging people to buy this, and you got people listening to their stupid friends. You see this? So price goes under the green line, which is just a simple average that makes just common sense. If price is going below it, and all the moving averages are going down, and everything's going down, it can't go up until these come together. It is impossible. It's a math formula. And until the formula, everything comes together, price is going the wrong way. The moment it goes this way, it breaks out. And if you notice, before it did it, what did it do? It made a box. Boom, right there. And as you watch it, and then, of course, there's ways we read the box. So you may be like, well, how do I know it's a box? We'll do that later, man. And then we see it, what? It just drifts. And you say, why'd you do it on Coca-Cola? Because it was like 20% undervalue right here. Right here it was. It ain't no more. Right? What's another one? Pepsi. What is up with Pepsi? You see the pattern? Now I'm going to show you a phenomena. I don't know what else to call it. We might call it magic. I'm going to show you a magic trick. You remember how I said, once we can identify the stages, that's a false breakout. We'll talk about that. And remember I said, when it goes down, it's probably going to go down to where it was before. Now notice what happens. It goes below that. You see it? You see that day right there? The magic trick here is this. It comes back into the box. Meaning, it created a box. Remember, a box, a legit box, one that we give a shit about, is at an extreme RSI. After a big move down, right? Undervalued, starts to go sideways, price, and we won't get in that. I won't go too far. I want to overload your brain. But back to our general philosophy that we were saying. See, I was just adding a little more detail to the strategy I just gave you of the green line. I know, Gerald, it's a green line, and gosh, I'd have to do it every day, and I'd have to watch the market every day, and I'd have to put money in. And then they would say bad things on the news, and I would sell them. And if as general rule, when price was below it, it's going down, and when it's above it, it's going up. If I could somehow figure out a value on this, the lower this goes, the better this gets. At a certain point, right? My man said it's easy. It's always easy when you don't have any money. You let a guy get about 500 G's in here, and he wakes up down 56,000, and over the preceding week, his account drops by 180,000, and he only makes 60,000 a year. And 4 years of his income is disappeared. That's when you start separating the men from the boys, so to speak, because that's when shit gets real difficult. That's why people broke out of Bitcoin. That's why people sell Bitcoin, man. They ain't got no conviction. And when they see that drop coming, all of a sudden, all that tough talk goes out the fucking window. You got $1 million and it's 600,000. You know, that's when they start dropping, man. So when people are like, fuck the market, man. Market's rigged, man. That's what they do. I watch them do it. Smart men, too. Smart people. Then they start watching Fox News. That's the worst thing you could do. You want to be a terrible trader? Just sit around watching Fox News all day. Or seeing MSNBC. That's another one. Just watch all full-blown liberal shit or full-blown conservative shit and watch what happens to your trading. It'll go terrible. You'll lose all optimism. Start hating people. You don't wake up with gratitude. You wake up bitter. That damn country's falling to the... I'm telling you, these are horrible traders. See, you want to be a trader, you can't be like other people, like your stupid friends. You should never ask your friends for trading advice, ever. Or stocks, unless they legitimately know what they're doing. Like they babble about stocks all the time. Otherwise, don't ask them. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't ask people about... I had a girl the other day. I didn't buy real estate because my mom... And I said, hold up. Shh. How many houses does your mom own? And she said, none. I'm like, what? What about her house? No. Then why the fuck would you be asking your mom about real estate? She doesn't own any. Like, it makes no sense, man. Don't ask people that don't do it, shit. Like, how, I mean, what do you... Like going to your grandma and ask you how to be an influencer or something. It don't make any sense, man. Go talk to people. Don't go. You know what her mom told her? You don't want to buy it because they might call you in the middle of the night. Don't answer. You guys think I answer the phone for a renter in the middle of the night? Get the fuck out of here. I am not answering the phone. Ever. Like, I don't answer it now. If you call right now, it's just going to sit there. Like, I don't answer the phone, dude. And guess what? I'm a landlord. I will listen to your message and call you back. So, we're going to look at some rentals right now real quick. I get a lot of guys. This is a bonus. I get a lot of guys and gals who are convinced that the apartment game is the best way to do it. Now, if you have a shit ton of money, I can't argue the numbers and the ability. What the apartment game really allows you to do is to buy quantity in a very fast pace, because it takes time to find a house, buy a house, fix a house, put a house on the market. It'll take me 6 months from the time I acquire a property to the time I have it rented. And there's people that'll say, oh my God, you have to make that mortgage payment. Yeah, I know, I own it. And that worry will keep them out. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But they'll do that. Now, I want you to notice something on this house. One of the reasons apartments perceived as cheaper to maintain, which I don't buy that, but one of the reasons is they're comparing an apartment to a house. I assure you, most people the average house in America is like 2,400 square feet. This house is 800 square feet. This is the size of an apartment, right? 2 bedroom, 1 bath. That's an apartment. So the roof on this is $4,500. If I had a 2,400 square foot home, the roof would be a hell of a lot more, right? More windows, more carpeting, more paint, more everything. But because it's only 2 bedroom and it's a very small house, all of the costs are smaller, right? Does that make sense? And then as we come down, if you look at this one, notice what it says. 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 900 square feet. Are you starting to see a pattern? So that is what I like to buy. Very simple, 2 bedroom, 1 bath houses. Why? It's called the box, man. Does that look like a box to you? That's just a fucking box. That's a box. Right? My man said, get a property manager. I am the property manager. Shit, I don't need nobody to collect rent. My buddy's got a property manager, and as soon as they had a problem, guess what the property manager did? Emailed him. Well, fuck, I can read my own emails. I don't need you to forward an email to me. Why the fuck do I need somebody to collect my rent and read my emails? They don't, a lot. I know if you guys are busy, if you're a doctor and you're really busy, I get it. But what's your wife doing? Why ain't she doing it? I don't know, man. I just never needed anybody to collect my rent. You can pay me, please. I don't need a fucking middleman. And I don't need someone to forward me fucking problems in the email. So my buddy who's got a property manager, she sends him an email and he's like, all these things got to be done. I'm like, well, why didn't they just email you? Why you need them? If they're just going to forward it to you and not handle the fucking problem, why do you need them? I don't need someone to hand off problems to me to make the decision. If I'm going to make the decision and hire someone, why do I need this guy? So it's kind of like having it makes no sense to me, man. And dude, I'll have months, not a phone call, no phone calls. So you know how much I would pay to have a realtor manage all these houses? $1,500, $2,000 a month to take no phone calls? Get out of here, man. I could hire an employee. Get what I'm saying? Fuck, I could hire a part-time employee and get 20 hours a week out of them for the price of a realtor to forward emails to me. Get what I'm saying? So I get $2,000 a month to put into the stock market because I don't have a property manager. Now, what do you think happens when you trade like I trade and you get $2,000 extra a month to just throw at this shit month after month, year after year, And all of a sudden, you got $1 million in the stock market. And let me tell you what I think about a property manager. But people don't look at the cost of that, man. If you were to take that $2,000 you're paying them a month and fucking compound it into Bitcoin, you'd be a fucking billionaire right now instead of having a fucking property manager. Seriously. 2015, you manage your own properties, push all that money into Bitcoin, you're rich as hell right now. So I just can't see it. Or put it in Amazon, or put it in Tesla, or put it in, I mean, just, I don't know, man. If you're far away, it totally makes sense. You can't manage a beach house from New Jersey. I get it. But if it's in your local town, get out of here, man. But what do I know? I'm just a guy that owns a bunch of houses. Exactly. It is easy, dude. And here's what I tell my tenants. If we talk a lot, I'm going to move you out. I should never hear about your life or your drama. You should never damage my property. If you do, call me immediately and together we will get it fixed. If there's ever a leak or a problem, call me. If you bug me, I will move you out. So every time you call me should be a legitimate business situation, you know? As simple as that. You follow the rules, I will follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, I will kick you out. Simple, man. It's an easy arrangement. Bring me my money. And if anything is broken, call me because it's my investment. I want to fix it. I mean, it's so simple, man. It's the same in the stock market. I'm looking for these undervalued things. I want to buy them. I don't want to worry about them. And then I want to sell them when they get to true value. So this is Pepsi. You see the pattern? So anybody that's a property manager, I wasn't talking about you. Let's see. Look at this, man. Bam, look at that. Enter on the box on the extreme low RSI after the big sell-off. Add to it on the breakout. Set that target. Bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. We're taking the money off now and putting it into other things. What did my man say about Ethereum? What do you think of Ethereum, man? I love Ethereum. I wish I had some more Ethereum. I only got 4 tokens, though. I got 4 Ethereum coins, man. I'm a full coin Ethereumer. So if you're doing Ethereum, you got to get at least a full coin, man. How many people own a full Bitcoin? Does anybody know? Let's look that up, man. I'm trying to get a full Bitcoin right now. I'm close. Anybody? I mean, who's got more than one? How many people own a full Bitcoin? This is what you should be buying right now. There are now as many as 100,000 people who have $1 million in Bitcoin. Holy fuck. Look at this. That's up. That's up from 25,000 Bitcoin millionaires 3 months ago. In 3 months, 75,000 people have become millionaires in Bitcoin. Damn it. That should have been all of us. Just sleeping on that shit, man. Just sleeping on it. Dude, we should be mad at ourselves. And you guys that weren't sleeping on it, why ain't you rich? Why did you trade it like a little bitch? Why aren't you rich? We got to fix that situation. We got to fix that, bro. Yeah, I'm long Ethereum and Bitcoin. My man says Amazon. Let's look, Ace. Woo! Look at this money flow pattern, man. And Ace, you bought on this day right here, right? That was that blowout day we had. Now watch, guys. This is super important. If you were with me, I sent a text out on that day. I said, I'd buy everything I own right now if I have the money. Charts aside. Why? It blew support, and then it came back. And it wasn't just Amazon. It was charts across the damn nation. Like all kind. That's super bullish, dude. Back into the support area on the extreme. I mean, Amazon wasn't extreme, but a bunch of others were super extreme. I was like, man, I would just buy some charts aside because the move had been gigantic. And what's happened since? We've drifted back. Now here's the breakouts. My man's target is right there, and he's right on his 68 RSI. Yes, sir. I would take some off the table. Yeah, sell one, bro. Let the other run. So now let's say he sells one. That's going to give him $3,344 to put to work. And he bought down here in the, let's say, 3 range. Nice little gain there. Now what are we going to do? We got to roll it forward. We want to find something else. I don't know. Shit, maybe we put it in Tesla. I don't know. Ooh, that's coming down. That sucks. Maybe we put it in PLTR. Oh, break it out now. Ace, are you in PLTR? Riot's too high right now, bro. I like Riot though. Fuck it, just buy Riot. Like I don't even know if you can use charts on it. This is breaking out though. Bought it at 2,900. That's a perfect swing trade. Perfect swing trade. He's low. He's already loaded up on this. So one I've been taking off is Facebook. I've been selling it down. Why? We hit our run. So what I want to do here is just take it back to my little core. I like to keep, I think, 15 shares of Facebook. Just keep it like a little pet. And then when it sells off and gets undervalued, I'll buy a little more. And then when it runs up, I'll take it off. And we'll just play this game all the way up. Roku's playing. I've been playing that game with Roku since like $50. So if we're just doing our little theory, let's say you're trading simpler than mine, and you're trying to buy these sell-offs, catching the breakout when it's undervalued. Now, if a stock runs and runs and runs, I don't want to make it seem uber simple. Like this could be a decision for you right in here. Like you could be like, fuck, what do I do here? You got support right there, but most likely, if you're buying down here and you're buying these breakouts way down here, usually like my man here who he sells half his Amazon position, he's probably going to let the rest drift. And if it becomes a core position, you're waiting on these little pullbacks so you can do what we did down here, right? And so you're playing out the pattern. And you'll see these runaways. I have a video on this. These runaways, which is what this is here, it just can't break down. It just keeps going. We saw Snap do that. Square did it for just like 6 fucking months. Just kept going. And I was in a core position from long back, and I just let it go and go. And then when I'd get these little sell-offs, it was so far above, where I originally got in, and I'd already taken gains on it that I'm like, cool, let's let this come in so I can load it up again. So the sell-off, it's not even a decision. Like I'm not trying to sell it here, Once you get on the right side of these trades and the value of them, and when they get to full value, you start selling them down. Like I got completely out of H&R Block, but I didn't have to. I just saw better opportunities. But look, it just keeps going. So when it got to fair value, look at the pattern on this. This was a perfect swing trade, even though it's kept going. I probably should have kept it, and we could have. And I think I even mentioned that in the text that you could keep it. I just feel like when it got to $19, that was pretty fair value. Obviously, other people disagree. It just kept drifting. And normally what I'll do is when I hit these targets, right? The target was the previous high. So stage 4 decline starts to go sideways. We start buying. We buy on the breakout. We set the target for the previous high, right? Bam, hits it. Next target's RSI, hits it. We let it drift and drift and drift. Up into here, I just took the trade off. It was always going to be a swing trade for me. I really don't want to be invested in H&R Block. I don't know. I just didn't feel, but look, it's kept going. So if it is a core position, my point is it would just be drifting now. And you say, what do I do with it? Nothing. This is a beautiful problem. I hope every time you put on a beautiful swing trade that you take some off, and then you just get to sit on the rest and it just drifts higher and higher and higher and higher for years. It just goes for years, man. I bought some that now they've, BX, I did that. It's just been drifting for years, just higher and higher. Tesla went through that same thing. And so you can begin to trade around, if you bought it here and it's way up here, you just take some off. And as it comes back in, what now? Now you're looking at putting some back on. Why? Because if this runs to 2,000, wouldn't you like to have two then too? I mean, why not? If we bought 4 over here, took some off, let's get back on the 4. And we could play this game all the way to 3,000. This is how you ride Bitcoin from $1 to 56,000. Whenever it's breaking above the green line, like you're very fucking interested. Like, you know what I mean? Like but if you hop from stock to stock to stock to stock to stock to stock, always in a new stock, always looking for something new, never building out a core of these trading positions, you're going to have a hard time keeping up with the market. You're going to have a hard time, man. And you're not going to get all you can get out of a lot of these stocks. You're never going to have 500% returns. Yeah, Romo pulled back. I'd be adding to Romo, man. Let's see. Yeah, that keeping 5 shares just to track it is a good idea. All right, man. I got to get to work. I babbled long enough today. Hope everybody's trading goes well. It's Friday. I wouldn't read too much into it. It does suck, though. Solo down. Son of a bitches. Okay, Jess. And Workhorse is down. I may go back and nibble on these, man. This EV trade is set up, man. Unless nobody's... Well, help if I could type right. Unless nobody's... God bless. Unless nobody's believing that they're going to get anything through as far as a tax cut or anything. But if they've sent out vouchers, we got a fundamental case why these EV stocks can go higher. A lot of them are trading below the 200. A lot of them are in stage 1s right now. Boxes are being built. So I've been buying a lot of shares of a lot of these EV companies. A lot of them. Okay? So I've been taking money off of some of my utility trades and adding them here. Okay? So we want to buy them here and sell them up here, right? Or, well, at least up in here somewhere. And so I've been taking shares off of like Dominion and AEP, right? As these go higher, I'm not getting out of them. I'm trimming them. Taking 5 off, buying 25 Workhorse. Taking 10 off, buying, see what I'm saying? And so I want to scale, and maybe new money too. I want some new money too, but I also want to use some of this profit to put into there. So see what I'm saying? I scale out of the one into the other. Just an idea, man. So, all right, you guys be good.